Hey, morning, everybody. It is Monday, January 28th, and time for this week's discipline. And this week's discipline is just read your Bible. If you want to grab onto the two-question quiet time or the God revealed quiet time, go with that. If you want to do what you normally do, go with that. Just this week is just read your Bible. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. There is no replacement for a Christian just reading their Bible. If you want to follow Jesus, open the good book, read it, and think about it, and just use whatever format you like there, and then just share with your group what you're reading, and that's where now as we're doing these spiritual disciplines, one of the things that you're probably picking up is that I bounce around a lot. Believe it or not, I actually have been diagnosed ADD. I'm not self-diagnosed, a psychiatrist. I used to work at a group home, and they had all of us go through the testing for ADD, and I was off the charts for it. And you probably notice I bounce a lot, and I'm sure those are connected in some capacity there. And some of you are not wired that way. Some of you are I need to do the same thing every single day. And so my hope is that the way these discipline groups are set up is that whether you're like me and you need the freedom to bounce, or whether you're like you and you need consistency, I hope it works for both of us there. And so that what you do, I hope you know that when I'm given an assignment like we did music last week, that's not music in place of your normal rhythms. Do your normal rhythms. Do your normal rhythms. Read your Bible. I want you, no matter what we're doing, we read our Bible every day. As a part of our quiet times, we are in our Bible. And so if you're that steady plotter, pick a course, do the same thing every single day. You need that rhythm, you need that routine. Do it. And today's just going to be a week for you to just to kind of go with that. For those of us, if you're wired a little bit more like me and you bounce, like I said, I've learned to embrace that. I don't fight that anymore. I used to try to fight it. I used to try to discipline my way out of it. But then, you know what? God didn't make me that way. He made me a bouncer. And so what I'm going to do is, you ever watch the way it's funny, we use the expression of the way a crow flies, as though a crow flies in a straight line. You ever watch the crow? Crow never flies in a straight line. A crow flies over here, then 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 over here, and they just bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce. But they fly in a northerly direction, right? So they bounce in a northerly direction. And so that's what I try to do with these spiritual disciplines. Is like, hey, we're bouncing from this to this to this, but we're bouncing in a northerly direction. we're headed somewhere. And some of you prefer that, just pick one line and stay on that line all the time. I'm hoping the bouncing kind of helps you and encourage you to maybe think about some things outside of your normal. But for those of you that are bouncers like me, I hope you know there's no replacement for consistent reading your Bible. And there. And so anyway, these are both. We're trying to do both end in this here, an environment that works for both. And knowing some weeks are going to be better for you than others. There. So, but this week, just read your Bible. Just read it any way you want and report in with your group. Next week, I want to give you a heads up. Next week, we are going to be taking a test run on fasting. I want to do a test run with it because in about a month, we're going to really do it. Like, we're going to do the real deal. Fasting, and we're going to be doing it for Lent. And I guess it's a little more than a month away, but not much. About, I think, 5 weeks out. And we're going to do some fasting for Lent. Now, it's not necessarily going to involve food, but we'll get into that next week. If you want to read ahead on the fasting, you can. But I just want you to get a heads up for that one. It's going to be different. It's probably going to be uncomfortable for most of you. And it's probably, well, I'll just tell you, your first run through it, probably not going to do a lot for you. And that's why I want to do it first time. I want you to do it one time. I want it to go awful. And so then when we do it the second time, you've learned a couple things about what didn't work, and you're ready to go. Although next week could be pretty cool for you too. There. But anyway, read your Bible this week, and just know that fasting is coming next week. And make sure you check in. And if the thought of fasting sounds awful to you, then that's even more reason to check in and do the fasting next week. Don't do what makes you comfortable. Don't do what makes you comfortable all the time. Pick some things you don't like. You'll never grow if everything in life is easy for you there. So anyway, all right, blessings.